Well, tonight, a stunning reversal is underway in Europe, and it's not coming from Hungary or Poland this time. It's actually coming from Portugal, if you can believe this, the quiet little country that doesn't usually make a lot of waves. They just get bullied by the EU and Brussels, and they get told what to do, and they get their hands forced on a regular basis. But Portugal's standing up to the rest of Europe. The once wide open socialist darling of Southern Europe has just slammed the brakes on mass migration. So they're seeing what's happening in Spain, France, the UK. Frankly, Portugal cannot afford to let that happen, where you're seeing all of these riots. You're seeing, mass illegal immigration attacking innocent Spanish, like that elderly folks that were killed the other day in Spain, and now you have Spanish taking to the streets saying, get out, this is a Christian country, get out of here, we want our borders closed. So, you see in the UK, of course, UK rapes are now through the roof, crime is out of control, civil services are being crushed to pay for illegal immigrants all across Europe, particularly in Portugal. Portugal, though, is saying enough, we're done. No more. Portugal's parliament just passed a landmark immigration reform bill that guts the so-called expressions of interest loophole. It's a policy that allowed illegal immigrants basically just to flood into the country and later then apply for legal status by showing that they had a job contract. So come on in, and use our services. But that's gone. Ciao. Até já. Bye-bye. No more. So just so you understand, Portugal's immigration scheme was one of the most ridiculous in all of Europe. You could just invade the country and then get legal status later on, and they'd give it to you, no questions asked about it. We saw it happening right before our eyes when we lived in Portugal for 5 years. It effectively turned Portugal into a magnet for unchecked migration, with tens of thousands of illegal immigrants gaming the system.
Even though it was really stinking hard for us to get residency, we worked our butts off to
isn't that amazing? We were legal immigrants. We came in legally, went through the whole process. We are
Portuguese residents.
Yeah, even though we live in the United States, but we have residency. But we had that. We had to go through the entire paperwork process. We did it all legally, and it was a huge pain in the ass. But if you were an illegal immigrant, just come across, and we'll handle the paperwork for you. See how this works? It makes no sense at all. It would overwhelm the public services all across the country, destabilize entire communities. We saw this happening firsthand. And who's behind this shocking shift? A center-right government that's had enough. The Chega party has pushed the government to say enough is enough. Even though Prime Minister Luis Montenegro, he's a social democrat, this move comes to thanks to more of the conservative members like you're seeing right here. This is Andre Ventura of the Chega party. Portugal's new Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, Pedro Duarte, said the quiet part out loud. He said, quote, "It is necessary to put an end to the disorder in immigration." Hallelujah. They're calling this a return to law and order in Portugal. Imagine that. The Portuguese people have simply had enough. Now, under these new rules, only immigrants allowed to seek residency must already have a valid visa before entering the country. No more slipping across the border in broad daylight, because they don't care, and expecting a fast track to legal status. You can go right over the border, right from Spain, come on right in, no problem at all. They wouldn't stop you. Not anymore. It also comes after years of pressure from nationalist movements and everyday Portuguese citizens who watched their neighborhoods transform overnight. Crime spikes, housing shortages, strained welfare systems, all while political class, were lecturing them about compassion and diversity. You're racist if you don't want these random thousands of illegal immigrants coming in from Africa or all over the place. Doesn't matter. They'll lecture you, though.
But, Portuguese citizens, who most of them are on fixed income, are getting squashed from the above and below. So they have wealthy immigrants coming in for this golden visa scam, which is increasing their housing prices. They can't keep up with wealthy immigrants, but they also have it below them, which is social services, which they cannot afford. It's a poor, debt-ridden country, and they're made to shelter the burden of an upper and a lower class while they're just squeezed in the middle. It's awful. Yeah. And that's why they had protests in the streets when their economy collapsed for a blank check to Ukraine, because they're most of them have adjustable rate mortgages, cannot afford to live in their own country any longer. It's awful.
But of course, you have the communists in Portugal, the far left bloc and communist parties in Portugal have voted against this reform, of course, warning that it would criminalize poverty. But it wouldn't criminalize illegal immigrants coming across the border without legal status. I mean, so it's going to criminalize poverty, but not criminalize criminals who are coming across. Okay. I mean, imagine how insane you'd have to be to believe these idiots, communists in Portugal. These communists are retarded. I hope the rest of Portugal starts pushing these commies out of their country. They are destroying Europe. Get them out of Portugal. Now the question is, will this trigger a domino effect across Europe? Will Spain, France, Belgium follow Portugal's lead? We've already seen countries like Italy and Denmark begin to tighten asylum laws. France is battling major unrest. Netherlands has seen its government collapse over immigration policy. Of course, don't expect CNN or the New York Times to give this any serious coverage. CNN Portugal, by the way, is one of the worst, most propagandistic news stations in all of Europe, if not the world. CNN Portugal is awful. And the Portuguese laugh at how bad CNN Portugal is. Like, you know, the Portuguese know that it's propaganda, full on. Now, just read thousands of comments if you want underneath when CNN Portugal publishes videos. Like, the Portuguese people know that they are a joke. In fact, they think that they're an export of the United States propaganda machine, and they're right. So like Western USAID garbage, you know, pumping a communist vision for Europe and using CNN Portugal as an arm of that. Just watch CNN Portugal's journalist talk about how she's physically ill, that Donald Trump is our president of the United States. Feel bad for her.
Claro. Bom dia, Rita. Bom dia, Francisco. Também aos nossos telespectadores. Deixa-me já fazer aqui um disclaimer. Esta voz tem sobretudo a ver, esta voz anasalada tem sobretudo a ver com o abalo que o meu estado de saúde sofreu com a vitória de Donald Trump e com aquilo que tinha sido uma expectativa fomentada.
So she's really upset about it. She's ill. She's physically ill because she's on CNN telling you that. Or this douchebag, this CNN anchor is trying to push fake news about Ukraine. This just happened this week. General Carlos Branco was on the air on CNN Portugal pushing back against the Western lies about what's actually happening in Ukraine. Like, I can't believe this actually happened on CNN Portugal, but he was telling the truth about Russia, and the CNN Portugal anchor just like freaked out, couldn't handle it. He's literally pumping out Western propaganda because he knows who pays his paycheck. Watch this little exchange.
Da Organização de Segurança de Xangai. Porque sempre que ouço, isto é factual, qualquer iniciativa que haja para a Ucrânia, o Sr. General esvazia como ausente de sentido, inconsequente, precipitada, sempre é a sua linha de raciocínio e de abordagem.
Isso que está a dizer não é correto.
O seu papel tão
claro. O senhor está a lucubrar. O senhor está a lucubrar.
Isto é um facto.
É para si.
Podemos fazer um apanhado todas as suas...
Pode fazer esse apanhado. Eu também faço o apanhado.
It got worse from there.
He's saying you're wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
He doesn't say how. It's incorrecto.
He has a general on there telling him specifically what's going on.
Yeah.
He invites him, and he's supposed to be a journalist.
All he said was no. You're wrong.
No one in that country takes CNN Portugal seriously. Just look at the front page.
The expat groups do. The American expats love them. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking about.
The American expats who just drink wine all day and they don't do anything.
Go to wine lunches. Yeah, they love CNN Portugal. They don't even understand it, but they don't even try to speak Portuguese.
They love propaganda. But anyway,
you can hear what I think of American expats.
Here is the front page of CNN Portugal. No mention of this immigration reform. Like, this is the front page this afternoon. This is arguably one of the biggest stories in the country, but we're not going to cover it. We're going to talk about Donald Trump changing Coca-Cola's recipe. Because the story destroys their narrative that all of Europe welcomes open borders and that pushback is limited to the far right. It's wrong. This is mainstream now. When you have literally socialist Democrats inside of Portugal saying we need to fix this, we're destroying our country. Even socialist Democrats voting alongside of like the Chega Party and other other right-leaning parties. And here's the part that they really don't want you to think about. If Portugal, one of the most progressive countries in Europe, can finally say enough is enough, what's stopping the rest of Europe from doing the very same thing? Portugal, in my opinion, just sent a huge message. And let's hope that others are listening. Let's hope that other countries in Europe are listening. And these globalists get the big middle finger.